Hi everyone, Timona Welly here from foxreviews.info and welcome to this week's edition of the weekly Forex Algorithm Review. I hope you're all well and that you had a great trading week last week. Okay, well in a few moments what I'll be doing is highlighting a number of important trading areas in the market. However, before I get into this week's review, I first of all would like to mention a big update, and that is that a new training series will be released here at Forex Reviews in the near future. And that training series is called the Zone Trader Training Series. Now I did mention this in a video update last week. So the mention of this update about this new training series is for all those people that haven't checked out that video yet. In the Zone Trader Training Series, I'll be covering how to identify important zones on the daily chart and how to trade within these important areas on the 1 hour time frame. And the expected release date for this training series is just over a week from now. Anyway, let's get into this week's edition of the review and see what's happening on the charts. Okay, the first pair I like to highlight is USD, and I'm on the daily chart. On USD this week, what I'd like to highlight is a potential long-term target area to the upside for all those people that are holding a buy trade on this market from the recent test of the 115.50 zone area, where price action tested deeply last week, and then the bulls took control, pushing price to the upside. The long-term target area I'd like to mention for all those people holding a buy trade in this market is the 117.31 zone area. And also want to mention that this is not only a potential long-term target area to the upside, but it's also an area to the upside where I'm just looking for bearish evidence in this area. And if I see a right bearish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way down, all the way back down to the 115.50 zone area to the downside. So overall on USD, holding the 117.31 zone area as a potential long-term target area to the upside for all those people holding a buy trade on this market from the recent test of the 115.50 zone area, which I held in the recent previous review as a potential bullish evidence area on this market, and also holding the 117.31 zone area as a potential bearish evidence area on this market. Okay, well that's it for that market. Okay, the next pair I'd like to cover is US dollar Swiss, and I'm on the daily chart. My bias hasn't changed on this market. Wanting to highlight that if price pulls back and tests the 98.30 zone area, that this is an area on this market where I'm just looking for bullish evidence in this area. And if I see a right bullish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way up to this recent high as a potential management point area to the upside, or potentially looking for a move all the way up long term to the $1.33 zone area to the upside. So overall on US dollar Swiss, holding that if price pulls back and tests the 98.30 zone area, that this is an area on this market where I'm just looking for bullish evidence in this area and a potential with the upside from this important zone. Okay, well that's it for that market. Okay, next pair to cover is GBUSD, and I'm on the daily chart. On GBUSD this week, what I'd like to highlight is the 132.86 zone area, where price came very close to testing in recent price action, which is this previous high area, looking left back here and this high. This is an area that if price comes up to this area this week, so price moves more to the upside, that this is a great long-term target area to the upside for all those people that are still holding a buy trade on this market from the recent test of the 130.50 zone area. And it's also an area to the upside where I'm just looking for bearish evidence in this area. And if I see right bearish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way down, all the way back down to the 130.50 zone area to the downside. So overall on GBUSD, holding that if price turns around and moves to the upside and tests the 132.86 zone area this week, that this is an area on this market where I'm just looking for bearish evidence and a potential with the downside from this important area. And also holding the 132.86 zone area as a potential long-term target area for all those people that are still holding a buy trade on this market from the recent test of the 130.50 zone area. Okay, well that's it for that market. Okay, next pair to cover is AUD, and I'm on the daily chart. On AUD this week, what I'd like to highlight is a potential pullback area. This is the same zone that I held last week in the review, and that is the 71.63 zone area. This is an area that if price pulls back and tests this area this week, which potentially this market may, looking at that recent price action, that this is an area on this market where I'm interested looking for bearish evidence in this area. And if I see a right bearish evidence in this area, like I go over in the Forex training on the website, then potentially looking for a move all the way down to this recent low, or potentially looking for a move all the way down to the 70.21 zone area to the downside. Okay, well that's it for that market. Okay, next pair to cover is New Zealand USD, and I'm on the 4-hour chart. On New Zealand USD, what I'd like to highlight is for all those people who are not in a sell trade on this market already, that where price is currently testing the 65 zone area, that this is a great area on this market to consider a potential bearish opportunity in this area and look for a potential move to the downside, potentially move all the way down to this recent low area, or potentially look for a move all the way down long term to the 60 to 65 zone area to the downside. So overall on this market, holding that where price is testing right now, for all those people who are not in a sell trade on this market already, that this is an area on this market, a great area on this market to consider a potential bearish opportunity in this area and look for a potential move to the downside from this important zone. Okay, well that's it for that market. Okay, next pair to cover is AUD CAD, and I'm on the daily chart. Last week in price action, AUD CAD pulled back, forming a low, pulled back all the way into the lower end of the 92-94 zone area, which is a great area in the trend on this market to look for potential continuation to the downside. So what I look to on this market this week is that the 92-94 zone area is an area on this market where I'm just looking for bearish evidence in this area. And if I see right bearish evidence in this area, like I go over in the Forex training on the website, then potentially looking for a move all the way down to this recent low, or potentially even lower on this market in the trend. Okay, well that's it for that market. Okay, next pair to cover is New Zealand CAD, and I'm on the daily chart. New Zealand CAD is similar to AUD CAD. Last week in price action, this market's price pulled back, forming this recent low, pulled back all the way into the lower end of the 85-14 zone area. This is a great area in the trend to look for potential continuation to the downside. At the moment, this market is in a downtrend. What I'd like to hold in this market this week is that the 85-14 zone area is an area on this market where I'm just looking for a potential bearish opportunity in this area and looking for a potential move to the downside. Potentially looking for a move all the way down to this recent low, or potentially even lower on this market in the trend. So overall on New Zealand CAD, holding the 85-14 zone area as an area on this market where I'm just looking for a potential bearish opportunity in this area and looking for a potential move to the downside from this important zone. Okay, well that's it for that market. The next market I look to cover is gold, and I'm on the daily chart. Last week in price action, gold broke above and closed above the 12-11 zone area. The 12-11 zone area was an important high area on this market that held multiple times in the recent past, looking left back here. And now the market's done this, what I'd like to highlight is that the 12-11 zone area is now an area on this market that if price pulls back and tests this area this week, that this is an area on this market where I'm just looking for bullish evidence in this area. And if you see right bullish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 12.39 zone area to the upside. So overall in gold, highlighting that if price pulls back and tests the 12.11 zone area this week, that this is an area on this market where I'm just looking for bullish evidence in this area and a potential move to the upside from this important zone. Okay, well that's it for me for this week's edition of the review. Thanks for watching. If you appreciate this video today, please do not forget to click that like button to show your support. Every like is appreciated, and it's a great way of letting me know you want more videos like this on a regular basis. If you have a comment below this video. Also, if you haven't checked out the Forex training on the website, such as the Engulfing Trader, the 5-day training series, or the Counseling training series just yet, well, you can find out all about this Forex training by clicking on the links below this video. Okay, well, I hope you all have a great trading week and happy trading.